At 84, Sir Cliff Richard stands out in modern entertainment, not because he clings to old fame, but because he still feels alive, relevant, and fully engaged with life. Seeing him today can be surprising for those who remember the young man who burst onto the British music scene in the late 1950s, because time seems to have treated him with uncommon kindness. His posture is upright, his movements confident, and his expression warm and alert. There is no sense of someone hiding in the shadow of past glory. Instead, he appears as a person who still has purpose, still feels curious, and remains unmistakably himself, proving that a life in the spotlight can evolve without fading away. The boy who changed British pop. Before knighthoods and lifetime awards, Cliff Richard was just a young performer with a guitar, a voice, and an instinct for melody that would reshape British pop. Songs like Move It and Living Doll didn't simply chart well, they marked a cultural shift. Britain had found its own pop idol, someone who could stand beside the emerging rock and roll voices from America while still sounding uniquely British. Cliff's appeal wasn't just musical. There was a genuine innocence to him, a sincerity that resonated with young audiences and stirred a sense of excitement among older generations. He wasn't rebelling for rebellion's sake. He was offering something new, energetic and hopeful, a fresh sound that felt both modern and heartfelt. Fame without losing the center. As success grew, Cliff faced the challenge that has undone many artists: how to stay grounded when the world insists on placing you on a pedestal. For him, the answer was never excess. While others chased indulgence as proof of success, Cliff quietly chose discipline. He kept routines, respected his craft, and leaned into values that kept him centered. Fame became something he managed rather than something that managed him. That decision, made early and repeated consistently, shaped not only his career longevity but the way he aged, both physically and emotionally. He didn't let success become his identity. He treated it as a part of life, not the whole of it. A career built on adaptation. One of the most impressive aspects of Cliff Richard's journey is his ability to evolve without losing his identity. Decade after decade, as musical trends shifted and audiences changed, he adapted thoughtfully. He explored new sounds, collaborated with different producers, and adjusted his image without chasing relevance for its own sake. This adaptability allowed him to remain present across generations, not as a novelty, but as a respected artist whose work continued to find listeners. Reinvention for Cliff was never about erasing the past. It was about staying honest in the present, allowing his music to reflect his life rather than simply trying to stay trendy. Aging in the public eye. Aging is complicated for anyone, but aging under public scrutiny adds another layer. Every appearance becomes a reference point, every photo a conversation. Yet Cliff has never tried to outrun time or deny it. Instead, he meets it with composure. He dresses well, carries himself with confidence, and understands that presentation is not about pretending to be young, but about respecting oneself at every stage of life. His appearance today reflects consistency rather than illusion, a result of habits maintained quietly over decades rather than sudden attempts to reverse the clock. Health as a long conversation. Cliff often talks about health not as a quick fix, but as a lifelong conversation with the body. He avoids extremes, favors moderation, and listens carefully to what his body needs as it changes. Regular movement, mindful eating, and rest are treated not as obligations, but as acts of self-respect. There is no dramatic promise or secret formula in his approach, just the understanding that small, steady choices compound over time. That perspective, more than any single habit, seems to be at the heart of his sustained vitality. Faith as an anchor. Beyond physical discipline, Cliff Richard's faith has played a defining role in how he handles both success and hardship. His spirituality is not performative. It is personal, steady, and deeply integrated into his daily life. Faith provides perspective, reminding him that identity doesn't begin or end with applause. It offers resilience during challenges and humility during triumphs. For Cliff, belief is not about retreating from the world, but about engaging with it thoughtfully, guided by values that prioritize compassion, gratitude, and responsibility. The voice that still resonates. One of the most striking aspects of Cliff Richard's continued presence is the clarity and control of his voice. While time naturally changes tone and range, his command of phrasing and emotion remains strong. He understands his instrument, respects its limits, and works within them rather than against them. This maturity as a vocalist allows his performances to feel intimate and assured instead of strained. Listening to him sing today isn't nostalgia. It's a reminder that artistry deepens when technique meets experience. Refusing to disappear quietly. In an industry that often encourages older artists to step aside, Cliff Richard has chosen a different path. He has never framed his career around a final farewell, nor has he clung desperately to the spotlight. Instead, he appears when he has something to share, and steps back when he doesn't. This balance gives his continued work authenticity. Audiences sense that he is there because he wants to be, not because he fears being forgotten. That choice alone gives his appearances a sense of dignity and purpose. Public appearances that inspire. When Cliff appears at interviews, charity events, or occasional performances, reactions are immediate and heartfelt. People don't just comment on how well he looks. They remark on how present he feels. His posture, eye contact, and attentiveness suggest someone engaged in the moment rather than distracted by legacy. These appearances generate admiration not because he seems ageless, but because he seems comfortable with his age, carrying it with pride instead of apology. Weathering personal challenges. Like anyone who has lived a long and public life, Cliff Richard has faced moments of difficulty that tested his resilience. Rather than allowing these experiences to harden him, he has consistently chosen restraint and grace. He speaks carefully, avoids bitterness, and focuses on moving forward rather than revisiting pain. This approach doesn't minimize hardship, it reframes it. Challenges become chapters, not conclusions, and that mindset has helped him preserve both his peace and his public integrity. Quiet strength over loud defiance. There is a calm strength to Cliff Richard that contrasts sharply with the louder forms of celebrity resilience often celebrated today. He doesn't shout his survival or dramatize his endurance. Instead, he lives well, works when inspired, and maintains relationships that matter to him. This quiet consistency sends a powerful message. Longevity is not about constant reinvention or public struggle, but about sustaining inner balance while the world changes around you. A relationship with the audience. Cliff's bond with his audience has matured alongside him. What began as teenage adoration has evolved into mutual respect. Fans who grew up with his music now see their own journeys reflected in his. He doesn't talk down to them or trade solely on nostalgia. Instead, he acknowledges the shared passage of time, the memories created together, and the gratitude that flows both ways. This relationship, built over decades, is one of the most enduring elements of his career. Redefining what aging looks like. In a culture that often equates aging with decline, Cliff Richard offers a counter-narrative. He shows that aging can be an expansion rather than a contraction. A stage where clarity replaces urgency and purpose replaces pressure. His life suggests that vitality isn't measured solely in physical metrics, but in curiosity, discipline, and emotional openness. Watching him today encourages a broader, more generous understanding of what it means to grow older. Inspiration without preaching. What makes Cliff Richard inspiring is that he doesn't frame his life as a lesson plan. He doesn't instruct others on how to age or live. He simply demonstrates what has worked for him. That authenticity allows people to draw their own meaning from his example. Inspiration emerges naturally, without slogans or declarations, rooted in observation rather than instruction. Still standing, still moving forward. At 84, Cliff Richard is not standing still. He remains open to creativity, connection, and contribution. Whether through music, conversation, or quiet presence, he continues to engage with the world on his own terms. His life reminds us that purpose does not expire, and that growth does not stop at a certain age. It simply changes form. A star that has learned to glow differently. Cliff Richard's light has not dimmed with time. It has softened, deepened, and spread outward. Where once it dazzled, now it steadies. Where once it thrilled, now it reassures. Seeing him today isn't shocking because he looks young, but because he looks whole. In an era obsessed with youth, he offers something far more valuable. Proof that aging, when met with care, discipline, and self-respect, can be a stage of quiet brilliance.